just want to make a couple of very brief announcements. I want to start out by saying thank you to everybody that's been working your tails off. And I know there's a lot of people that have really been working hard. We've been doing everything we can here in Casa Grande area, lit dropping and phone calling and writing letters to the editor. I just want to mention a couple of people. I want to give a special shout out to Debbie Broom, who I mention quite often, deservedly so. If you've not been to our website lately, please do. In my humble opinion, it's the best Democratic website in the state of Arizona. So take a look at it. There's a lot on there. And thank you, Debbie. You do just a wonderful job. And if you see our newsletter or any of the email blasts that come from Democrats of Casa Grande, Betty Voss, who's our host tonight, Betty does all of that, and she does a remarkable job with it. The newsletter is really terrific. We try to keep articles in there that are timely and not just politically based, but you probably saw one this month from Julie McCracken, who's with us tonight, on what people with disabilities are going through that a lot of us may not be aware of or in touch with. So thank you, Betty, for the great job you've done. And so lately, we've been doing a lot of lit dropping in the Casa Grande area. This last week, and still probably another day going into it, we've hit something like 850 doors in Casa Grande, Arizona City, Eloy. And in large part, that's been organized by Rhonda Olson from Robeson Ranch. She's with us tonight. Rhonda, I just want to say thank you. You took a lot off of my plate by organizing that and getting the lit out to people, and a terrific job. So I know all the candidates appreciate that, and we do too. So, and she also was very instrumental. She got us a translation so that we're able to get our sample ballot out in Spanish. We took it out today in LD11 in predominantly Hispanic neighborhoods, and some people were outside and we handed it to them, and they were really surprised and appreciative of getting us an in Spanish sample ballot. So thank you, Rhonda, for that. And we're going to continue doing things. You're going to hear from us about lit dropping, phone calls. Teddy Lake will talk about that a little bit as well. So people are starting to contribute for your 2021 Democrats of Casa Grande annual dues. It's $20. We will put it to great use. We don't waste a penny of your money. Believe me, we put everything we get into helping get Democrats elected. So you can go to our website, and don't be too mesmerized by how wonderful it is. Don't forget to hit the donate button and get your dues in. So thanks for that. All right, well, without further ado, I want to introduce Felicia Rotellini. And I met Felicia when she was running for Arizona Attorney General just a couple of years ago. And that year, boy, we had a slate of candidates that couldn't be beaten. And you know what? We didn't get any of them elected. But this year, 2018 rather, Felicia became the chair of the Arizona Democratic Party. And we had literally a blue wave across Arizona. And Felicia, in large degree, is responsible for organizing that and getting us to do the work that needed to be done, getting people to the doors and all of it. So she's the head of our party statewide. And so I want to introduce Felicia Rotellini.
You need to unmute yourself.
I'm muting. Yay.
Yay.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. And you'll probably, I pray to God, my dogs will not bark too much or whine or yell at me when the minute I start talking. But Ralph, thank you for those kind words. I think that we've been working in the trenches together for a very long time. And it's because of the hard work of everyone here tonight and that we are where we are. It started in for me, 2010, SB 1070, the engagement and the enragement that came from the fear mongering and the race baiting of that era, very much like what the Trump administration has done nationally now. I think we learned a long time ago that we were not going to tolerate that. and lots of incredible leaders came out of the movement that got rid of the architect of SB 1070 just 2 years later in 2012. I know that Congressman O'Halloran can talk about his trials and tribulations during those years as well, trying to be the voice of reason and the voice of Arizonans. And I'm so proud that he is our congressman, because he is such a great voice for all Arizonans, and that's what we need. And you guys know that better than anybody. So I just want to start by thanking you, Ralph, for being such a great chair and all the things you're doing with the Casa Grande Democrats. And then Congressman O'Halloran, my honor and privilege to be on the same virtual platform with you. Hollis Lyon, chair for the Pinal County Dems. I think she's on the call, and I always like to give her a shout out for everything she's doing. I think Teddy Lake from Mission for Arizona, our field organizers on the call. Thank you. It was our vision that Mission for Arizona would really integrate with all of the legislative districts and all the counties and be available to make sure we are truly a mission for Arizona. The Casa Grande area candidates, I could not be prouder of you, JoAnna Mendoza and Felipe Perez, and of course, Susan Gerard. You guys are working your tails off. Not Susan, it's Sharon Gerard. I'm
Sharon Gerard.
notes. I'm like, wait a minute, I know that's not the right name. I read that out loud, and then I was like, whoa, that's not the right name. Sharon Gerard.
I forgive you. I forgive you, Felicia.
Yeah, well, and I put my wiener dog in that video because I wanted to, because you remind me so much of, you know, a hardworking woman who loves wiener dogs. I don't know anyone else like that. But anyway, so thank you, Sharon. And I really appreciate everything that you've done and all of the candidates. You guys are, you're in play. The polling looks good. The where you are, it's trending in your favor. And I know how hard you've worked in this district, regardless of the odds and regardless of what someone might say about how likely it would be for you to win. And the hard work is super, super paying off. So let me talk a little bit about numbers. We like to hear that polls are putting our Democrats in our favor because it helps us feel motivated and it keeps us cautiously optimistic. Right now, Joe Biden's doing an amazing job of debating the Orange Man, and he's been leading in Arizona since the time that he announced he was running. As he's up by 8, Martha McSally is down by 11. Mark Kelly continues to really dominate in the polls and frankly dominate the airwaves.
Biden's up by 8.
Biden is winning women by 18 points, and he's only trailing Trump by 2 points with respect to men. And among likely Hispanic voters, which we expect to be 20% of the electorate in this cycle, Biden is overwhelmingly winning, capturing about 65%. This shows that the work for the last 4 years, the goals we set for ourselves to put a Democrat back in the White House and kick Trump out, we've been working very hard. And this strategy of messaging about Arizona values, which are American values, which transcend party politics, is working. Even the New York Times in a recent op-ed said the reason Arizona was going to be a solid blue state and we were going to be a swing state that delivers for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is because we have been tremendously effective at messaging to Arizonans, frankly, messaging on the fact that everybody wants affordable, accessible healthcare, great education system, protecting Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, the greatest program we've ever had to protect our working families and give them secure retirements. And of course, climate change and the pandemic and all of the things that we're seeing. So those numbers give me confidence that our work is paying off, but also our increase in Democrats registered to vote in Arizona since 2018 tells the story as well. We have added 181,000 new Democrats, outpacing the Republicans by 40,000 registrations. In August, the primary vote statewide told us that Arizona Democrats and independents are fired up and are voting. Comparing the 2016 and 2020 state primaries, we had a 15% increase in Democratic voter turnout. The turnout in 2020 was 4% higher than even 2018. And this year in the early vote, 54% of independents broke for Democrats. So we feel like 2018, the biggest coordinated campaign we've ever had, with boots on the ground. 2020, a lot bigger. We've turfed the state into 16 regions. We have 16 regional organizing directors. We only had 12 regions in 2018. For each region, we have field organizers, and it has been our goal since day one. And I know that, and I know that this is important to Congressman O'Halloran as well, is that we integrate with our legislative districts who know our voters the best, and we integrate with our counties so that we, the activists and the boots on the ground who understand our voters, have a say and are involved in how we get the vote out. So our goal, speaking of getting the vote out, it's a national strategy. We want an electoral college landslide on the night of the election. When 8 o'clock rolls around, 8:15, whenever we get our early numbers, we want to make sure that every single early vote that's being cast and being counted now is in that early number. And every single vote that is cast up through October 30th is supposed to be counted. That's the last day to count the votes by all of the recorders. And I know all the recorders are working very hard to do that. That's the best way to take the wind out of all the sails of all the folks who are trying to say there's going to be a lot of chaos and the Civil War and blah, blah, blah. We just need to show that a majority of Americans, a majority of Arizonans are solidly with Joe Biden and that he's going to win. And here's something about our current returns, which we have so far. And here are the numbers I want to give to you. 1,284,323 ballots have been returned. 553,000 of those are Democrats. 430,000 are Republicans, and I haven't had a chance to do all of the math yet, but 301,000 are Republicans. Democrats have 123,000 ballot advantage right now. Now we know we are much better at early voting, so we just got to keep building that margin and building it. Our Democratic turnout is 39.8% of all registered Democrats, and Republicans are only at 28.5%. Democrats comprise 43% of the ballots returned so far, while Republicans are at 33.5% and independents are at 23.5%. In Pinal County, 44,000 ballots have been returned. Of those, 17,000 are Democrats, 16,000 are Republicans, and 10,000 are independents. We have a 743 ballot advantage for Democrats. That's amazing, and it's all because of what you guys are doing. The Democratic turnout is 26% of registered Democrats, while only 17.5% of registered Republicans in Pinal County have voted. So this shows that organizations like the Casa Grande Democrats, all of the groups that in Pinal County, all of the hard work you're doing is allowing us to outpace Republicans by 11%. Okay, we can't take our foot off the gas. To win a battleground state, that means we have to be more organized, more disciplined, more focused, and more unified. And I am so proud to say that we are. We are. And so we have to continue to make phone calls. We have so many new registered voters that have never voted before. And we have 70,000 new Pebble voters. So these are the folks that we need to call. We need to have relationships with. We need to send them texts, and we need to do everything we can. And just say to them, whatever you want to do to vote, vote, and vote right away. If you want to do it in person, go to an early voting center. I have a couple friends that live in Pinal County, and we went together and got on BeBallotReady.com to see, to make sure they were registered to vote and to get status updates if possible. And I know that the early vote centers are out there because I know that's where they took their ballots. So we certainly need volunteers. I know everybody that's on this call are doing everything they can and volunteering constantly. You can go to the missionforarizona.com website and there's a menu of things to do. We also are, some of those menu items will include volunteering to cure ballots. We learned so much in 2018 about folks who have changed their signatures and their signature is not passing verification. We want to cure as many votes as we can before election day as well. So I'm going to just end with what you guys already know. When Democrats win, we balance our budgets. We have a competent government. We have social justice. We have leaders we can trust. We have a more inclusive nation. Our rights are protected. We have more peace. We have respect globally and security globally as well as at home. And we have a democracy that is actually a living, breathing document that protects our rights. And we have a constitution that we must protect. God bless you guys for doing everything you're doing. As Joe Biden says, it's the soul of our nation that we're fighting for, and we need to do everything we can. It's a battle. We got to leave it on the field. I love you all. Let's go do it. Thank you, Pinal County.
Felicia?
Yeah.
Someone has a question. Since the names of the electors are not on the ballot, who are they?
Well, the names of the electors should be on the ballot. They're right there across from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And it's very small, but I can tell you who those 11 electors are. It's Sandra Kennedy, Constance Jackson, Fred Yamashita, who's the head of our AFL-CIO, Jim McLaughlin, who is one of our great partners who runs the UFCW, the President Nez of the Navajo Nation, Governor Lewis of the Gila River community, and President Norris of the Tohorodom, Gallardo, Maricopa County Board of Supervisor Gallardo, Luis Heredia, and me.
Wow. I'm pretty impressed that you remembered all those. I did not see them either on the ballot. I did not, I missed it, so.
Teeny.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those are, we wanted a lot, we wanted to have extreme inclusivity and diversity, make sure that, and I talked to Governor Lewis, who said that it was really cool because they were actually using the fact that he is an elector and you get to see his name on the ballot as another way to get the folks on the in the tribal communities to make sure they vote. So
Yeah.
I am very honored just to be the chair and to be able to make those selections. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Well, we're lucky to have you. I don't see any other questions. Ralph, do you have any?
Felicia, I just wanted to make a comment. I got an email from someone that said the recorder's early voting location in Casa Grande, that there was some trouble stirred up in the parking lot. And so the next day, I got it in the evening. So the next day I went out there and to check it out. And in the parking lot was a tent set up. And I put this picture on Facebook and on Twitter. In the parking lot, more than 75 feet away from where people vote, was a tent set up with a gigantic Biden sign and two guys in the tent with Biden hats. And I went in there and I had a Biden hat on, and I went in, they didn't know me, I didn't know them. And they said that they were working for the DNC and on a rotating basis, going around to these early polling places and setting up. And he said, tomorrow it might be somebody else from our team that's here and we'll be somewhere else. But just so everybody knows, there is someone out there watching. And if you know of anything going on, let me know right away.
Yeah.
We've got enough people that live close enough. we could send somebody out there to at least take a look. But I was amazed to see that, and I was thrilled to see it.
Yeah.
And so just so you know that's going on.
You met the guys, but did you meet the guys from Oakland, Ralph? They were from Oakland?
Yeah, well, they're from California. Yeah.
Oakland, California. They're coming from all over, Pima County, Oakland, California, and they're all going to make sure that the early voting sites around the state have observers. Were you involved with that, Tricia?
So I am not involved directly in that. I do know that that is part of our voter protection program, and we have been recruiting and training poll observers. And these are the folks that are going to be inside the polling locations on election day. But I am not surprised at all. I want to make sure that you guys know if you hear of anything, we do have a hotline, and you can also call me. I'll make sure you guys have the hotline. We have, last I heard, there was like 700 people that had volunteered to do the hotline. And the hotline is up and running, obviously, right now. Everyone is calling it to talk about what, if they have a vote by mail ballot, where do they go? So let me go back and tell the voter protection folks, there's a variety of programs out there. So I'm going to follow up on that. And that is so exciting. Thank you for letting me know, Ralph.
Yeah, and I just put the hotline number in the chat for everyone to see. So take a look at the chat. And yeah, Debbie Broom said she's a poll observer. There's a number of us that are poll observers. And I did the training with Mission for Arizona. Yeah.
So we have a voter protection team that's one of the largest in the country, very much probably as large as North Carolina's, which they brag theirs is the largest. We have 12 lawyers that are in the trenches. They're not like, drafting pleadings. They are literally election lawyers who are answering phones, who are strategizing, who have met with the election offices across the state, from the tribal community election offices to the Navajo Nation's Attorney General, and are working with all the recorders. And the Pima and the Pinal County Recorder is providing us with information on any ballots that have not cured, so that we can do the follow-up. So, kudos to your Pinal County Recorder for working with us and responding to our public records requests.
Great.
All right. And if anybody wants to check on their ballot, whether you mailed it in or dropped it off at the recorder's office, you can go to my.arizona.vote. That's my.arizona.vote. And it's easy. If I did it, believe me, it's an easy process. And I was able to, for Pat and me, track that our ballots were actually accepted. It was 2 or 3 days after we dropped them off. So that's an easy thing to do. And I suggest you use your driver's license number as your ID. We tried it with that tab thing that was on the ballot. That didn't work, but our driver's license number worked. So my.arizona.vote and your driver's license number, and you should be able to, within a couple of days, track your ballot.
Get over the house because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories.
All right, Felicia, thank you very much. We are looking forward to what was a blue wave in 2018 being a blue tsunami in 2020, and a lot of the credit and hard work is yours. So thank you very much.
Everybody, thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
So, we are fortunate again to have our Arizona Congressman, CD1 Congressman Tom O'Halloran with us to give us an update on what's going on, and hopefully just a few days from being reelected. And take it away, Tom.
Well, first thing, a great Supreme Court decision today about the census, and that it is a census for everybody and not just the chosen few, and that's outstanding. The second thing, I know Felicia probably went already, but I just have to say, I remember talking to Felicia, and when I first started to run for Congress and having the discussion, I knew her from before. But, what's happened here is building on success and building on learning to make sure that we all work together and to develop on a consistent basis the power to win. And that's what good leadership does. And that is what Felicia and the people in the entire party have done with her under her leadership. And we have a tremendous effort going on out there. Whether it's myself or Mark or Ann Kirkpatrick, I was just on the phone with or an event with all of them. So I know a little bit about what they're doing tonight. And any of the other candidates, all the way down the ticket. We can't do it without you. All the millions of dollars that are flowing in and all this other stuff, you're the critical element in this process. You're the ones that are going to get your friends, your neighbors to trust in the Democratic Party, to trust in the goals and objectives that we have to tell them that we're going to honor, and the promises that we're going to honor, and the work that we're going to get done for them and families across this nation. So thank you so much for all you're doing. And Ralph, I just have to say that I heard you comment about all the handouts that were done and everything. And I want to make sure that I know you didn't walk a lot, but Pat probably did. So I just want to make sure that I see you're in your office there. That's just, Ralph, thanks for all you're doing. Holly, I hope you're out there, and thank you. And all the mission folks, this is just a totally different election cycle than 16 and 18, just totally different. Because we started early and we're going to go run through the finish line together. So besides that case there, I do want to say, I want you to hear this well. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. What am I referring to?
Victory.
The election.
No. This is about the promise that Trump has made us for over 4 years, that in 2 weeks we'll have an answer for healthcare in America.
Right.
And he has failed each and every time. The first thing I did when I was in Congress is put an amendment in to close the donut hole as far as we could. And I was called up to the Rules Committee, and it was resounding no from the Republican side. They were in control. But then they went into about a 20 to 25 minute process of telling me and the Democrats on the committee why they have the answer to healthcare in America. And they had 4 bills on the top of the desk, and the chairman kept talking about how important those bills are and how they are the answer and how they know how to address these issues. And I thought, well, that was, for me, that was, almost 4 years ago. For them, it's 10 years ago. That's when they started putting those bills together. And as far as the American people, they haven't ever seen those bills put down on the floor of the House of Representatives because they don't know what they're doing. They know the American people wouldn't want those bills. They have never brought those together as one plan. And it seems like that will not occur in the next 2 weeks or 2 years if they keep control. What will occur is a continual attack on the Affordable Care Act, on Medicare, on Medicaid, on Social Security. This is their agenda. This is what they have been, and this is what they will be. That's why this is such an important election. We will prevail. But after prevailing, after winning, after getting back the House and the Senate and the presidency, we have to understand that we bring people together. That will allow us to continue having power into the future. Not only in the Senate and the House and Congress, but the Arizona legislature. Whether it's Sharon or JoAnna or Felipe and other members up in congressional or legislative district 6, this is going to be a major election for the people of Arizona. And we're all going to work together. And we're all going to win because of the work and effort that you've put into this process. There's a lot to overcome. We are going to have to make up for 4 years of leadership that didn't work for us. Might have worked for him, but it sure the heck didn't work for us. We have to overcome 4 years of the other side being intimidated by the guy that sits in the White House. And it's what happened. They're more worried about their next election than they are about the people of America. And so we have to change their mind and make sure they understand that people come first. We have to understand that when a guy like Mitch McConnell says, while people are dying, it's time to pause. He said that on May 5th of this year. It's time to pause. We don't need another CARES Act, or in our case, a HEROES Act. But we don't need any of that. Now, we're 5.5 months later, or a little bit over. And you know what he said the other day? I'm sure you do. If you come together with an agreement, I'm not going to hear that on the floor of the Senate until sometime after the election. I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on here. And then it hit me. Politics comes before our citizens' health, welfare, and life. That's the message that these people are sending out. To think of that. I can save a life, or I can make sure that we have the best possibility of winning as far as Mr. McConnell's concerned. And the president, same thing. He's had an opportunity to negotiate for over 5.5 months, and all he's done is be negative about it. And right now, today, we know that it's not going any further than it has in the past week. They want it all their way. While we were fighting for citizens, they're fighting for politics. While we're fighting for lives and families and keeping families together and making sure our streets aren't filled with people that are unemployed and thrown out of their apartments, and making sure food gets on the table of millions and millions of Americans. Nope. We're going to pause, and then we're going to wait for a political decision for our country. And if they win in the Senate, he might even wait until hell freezes over. Because if they win in the Senate, he wins. So this is what we're all up against. We have to overcome what has occurred, and then we have to work beyond that to change the entire structure and put it back into the hands of looking for the well-being of all Americans. And this discrimination that's out there, the disparities that are out there, the lack of leadership that is out there, we have to overcome all that. And so that's what is out there. And that's, I think, is your type of leadership is going to make sure that we have a better discussion in the next 4 years, the next 2 years, in the next year, and beyond. Because as we start to change the direction of America and have the successes for the American people, we'll be able to keep our ability to have these discussions for people versus just, I don't know. I think Joe Biden, before I got on, said something about, while he was trapped in a sand trap. It seems like he's been in that sand trap for almost 4 years. And so, not Joe, the other guy, while people were dying. So here's where we're at, and I'm going to take some questions and get out of your way, because I know we have some other great people here.
Say, Tom, this is Roger Olson. I have a question here. It appears that the HEROES Act is likely to fail in the Senate. Do the Democrats have a fallback position if, in fact, that happens? As far as what their next step's going to be?
Well, if it fails in the Senate, if we do come to an agreement where we can get it heard in the Senate. That's the biggest thing. Same with the other 400 bills that are sitting over there. If we can get it heard in the Senate, I think it's very hard before the election. It's going to be very hard for certain people to not vote for it.
Okay.
But we need to learn that these types of leaders, these leaders that put themselves or politics ahead of the people, we have to overcome that. That has to be part of our message.
All right.
So I don't know where that's going to go right now, but the more days that go by, the less likelihood. I have a bag packed because they told us we have 24 hours. I'm ready. I want to go and get there, get the vote in, and smile, because we're going to help the American people. And after that, it's going to take us a few months, and we'll come back at it again, because I'm sure the most important thing that we have to overcome after this election, after Joe wins, is making sure we keep control of our country in the 3 months before Joe gets sworn in. So,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else have a question for Tom? All right. Tom, thank you so much again for being with us. We appreciate all you're doing, and we know that you're working as hard as you possibly can. I can't imagine anyone being more engaged in the actual problem solving in the House of Representatives than you are. You really do have our backs when it comes to the important issues. You always have the answers. You're doing all you can, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Well, I need you to talk to Pat so that she knows that I have all the answers.
I'm not talking about that.
Say, listen, you have your legislators here, future legislators here. They have to win their races. If they win their races, I'll win my race.
For
So
sure.
keep working hard. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Tom. All right, and so we are going to move to some of our other candidates, and every one of these races is important, and every one of them we're working as hard as we can to get them all elected. None of them are not important. Every one of them up and down the ballot. So our next speaker is going to be our candidate from Legislative District 8, running for the State House of Representatives, Sharon Gerard. Take it away, Sharon.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. So I won't take up much time, but we are doing well. The campaign's moving right along. Polling is looking very good. Okay, so I should win. I will win if we get everybody out to vote. It's not going to be a landslide. It's going to be close. And you know how those close elections are. They're decided by double digits, maybe triple digits. I'm not expecting it. One poll looks really, really good, and one poll looks very good, but close. So it's going to come down to voter turnout. So we just need people to just keep it up. One thing, let me just let you know, looking at ages and numbers of people that have turned in their ballots, it seems that the 65 and over crowd seems to be winning all of us people who have been doing it a long time. But the under 40 crowd is kind of lagging. So if you're looking at your phone banking or your lit dropping or whatever it is you're doing, and thank you so much. I went lit dropping today, I'm doing it again tomorrow, I'm phoning, whatever. You can, you wanna maybe not talk to the people who are Pebble voters, talk to the Pebble voters who are 40 and under. There's a higher chance that their ballot is sitting on their kitchen table and they haven't mailed it in yet. And it is too late. Don't tell them to mail it in. Tell them to walk it in, because we were saying the 23rd, we don't want anyone to mail it in past the 23rd, even though the state says the 27th, you know how the post office is. So have them walk it in or bring it in on election day to their precinct. So we don't want to leave any stone unturned. I am going, yes, for sure, yes. We do love the post office, but we do want it to be better than it is. Like I said, I win. We have a majority. We're gonna have a majority in the State House. We're gonna get the legislation. I'm already hearing from legislators who are saying, I want you to help sponsor this bill. So I gotta win because they're already waiting for me to sponsor legislation. So I gotta win. So anyways, thank you, everybody. Keep it up. The lit dropping, the calling, the texting right up into the last minute. Yes, a large part of the people are voting, but I'm really worried about those new voters and the under 40 voters that are really busy and kind of wait till the last minute. So look at those and focus on that group and the non-Pebble people, even though the non-Pebble people are walking over to the county recorder's office or the van and still voting. Just keep trying. It's going to come down to the end, and then we're going to make history. So thank you very much. And I didn't know how much time I had. So
just exactly that. Thank you, Sharon. Great job. And I just want to tell you two things, Sharon. Nicholas Morehouse, who's our 19-year-old PC in precinct 34, got a turf and literature, and he's out on his bike lit dropping in precinct 34 in LD8. So we've got people out there working. So
let's give him a new bike, maybe.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you. Yes.
So our next speaker is running for the Pinell County Board of Supervisors. This is an important position. A lot of things are decided by the County Board of Supervisors. They're kind of under the radar as far as knowing what they're doing and what happens, but believe me, they are important. So District 3, if you live in Pinell County Supervisor District 3, here's the person you should be voting for, April Lowe. April?
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to, some of you that I haven't met before or seen before, my name's April Lowe. And I want to say that one of the things I'd like to see us do is get the community built from the ground up. I know that we talk about a lot of corporations getting breaks and things like that, but we need to build our community from the ground up, keep our affordable housing and transportation and healthcare, make it and internet accessible. And one thing I'd like to see is us keep social justice in the conversation. I know we're all heading into D-Day for the election. And so I just want to make sure we're keeping the social justice issues in the conversation. Maybe as far as education goes, I want to see that we, instead of tax breaks or tax incentives to corporations, maybe we can have them do incentivize education. And there's a lot of things I'd like to see happen and change with the Board of Supervisors, instead of just across the board, them all voting aye for all of the things that doesn't necessarily build up the community. I would like to say, and I only have just a short amount of time, I would like to say, together with JoAnna Mendoza of LD11, we've recently just dropped about 600 doors. And I've been working really hard with that. And I want to thank her and her team. I know she's not on here, but I just want to give her a shout out for everything she's done. Oh, you are? I didn't see your name on the participation list. Sorry about that. So I just want to thank you for that and all the support you've been giving our team here. And I want to thank the Democrats of Casa Grande and Pinell County Democratic Party and Rural Arizona Action. I've gotten several text messages telling people to vote for April Lowe and vote for JoAnna Mendoza and a few others. And so that's really great. I do always reply to them and thank them and tell them I will be sure to vote for myself. But I want to also thank all the volunteers and everyone out there that doesn't know me or even some of the other candidates that are working really, really hard in the community. So I just want to thank all of them and see what we could do and get your sign waving out there. I see that and I just appreciate it so much with all the hard work. So thank you, Ralph, for the few minutes you gave me here today, and hopefully we'll get it done and see all blue.
Yes. Thank you, April. Very nice. Thank you very much. So next is going to be the aforementioned JoAnna Mendoza, who is running for the state Senate in LD11. And I know a little bit about running for the state Senate in LD11. So JoAnna, we were out there, Noel, Rec, Pat, and I were out in LD11 today, lid dropping. And this woman said, wait a minute, I'm not registered to vote. And we said, you're on our list, you're registered to vote. Get over there. Where am I? Gave her the address over on Cottonwood and said, you get over there and vote. And she said she would. So if you win by one vote, we twisted an arm today to get her out there for you. So everybody, here is JoAnna Mendoza.
Hello, everyone. And I just have to give a shout out to Tom. I haven't seen him in so long. I know he's working so hard. Keith, Evelyn, oh my gosh, April, all of, it's so good to see all of you. I'm just so excited. Betty, Barbara. So we've been working our butts off. We've been phone banking. We have been lit dropping. We have been doing everything that we possibly can to get people to vote for us. And I will share with you that we've actually had some pretty good conversations on the phone. I always get excited when Republicans say they're voting for us because they're really tired of what this administration has done, that they are starting to see the light. And so, of course, it's always a good day when we say we can get someone to come over to our side and see things the way that we see. But we're not taking anything for granted. There is still a lot of work to be done, 12 weeks out. And again, we're doing everything that we can with the help of the Dems of Casa Grande, other groups like the Democrats of Oro Valley. Just so many folks have shown up for us. We have to date been officially endorsed or recognized by over 50 elected officials, organizations, national and statewide. That is a true testament to the work that we have done in this district. We outraised Vince Leach by 3 times. 3 times. Our total was a little over 142,000. And, you know, we are, again, just doing the work and people are showing up. And we expect that we're going to even raise more here in the next couple of days. But again, we're not taking anything for granted. We still need everyone in this fight with us. And I will share really quick with you that for the first time, and Evelyn witnessed this today, Leach actually showed up for something. He showed up for the Beretta and Oro Valley Chamber Candidate Forum. He spoke, rambled on for about 5 minutes, Evelyn, and then, you know, he stuck around to hear me speak. But it was just interesting to see that he actually showed up for that, and I don't think he thought that I was going to show up. But again, you know, we are willing to do the work. We're willing to have those tough conversations with folks, and we're willing to try to find some common ground where we can, right? We're not going to compromise our values, but we're going to try to move this district forward as best we can, doing the work of the people, being a voice for the people in our communities. But we got to get there first. So 12 days, if you can phone bank, please phone bank. If you can't phone bank, please give $20, 20 cents, whatever you can to help us finish strong. So with that, I will turn it over to Ralph. And again, thank you all so much for all the hard work you're doing. 12 more days.
Thank you, JoAnna, and I know you are working hard. I just have one question. Did Leach have his QAnon t-shirt on or his bugle?
No, but he had it written all over his face. I didn't even look at his expressions. Evelyn could probably share with you. I tried not to look at him when I was speaking just because I didn't want to laugh, but she can probably share with you what he looked like on the call today.
All right.
As creepy as you remember him.
All right. That says enough. That says it all to me. So Tom Elliott, I know you're on here, Tom. Barbara McGuire was not able to join us tonight. So Tom, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes if you'd like to bring us up to date on what's going on. Barbara McGuire is our state Senate candidate in LD8. She's our former state Senate senator, and we're hoping to get her elected back to the state Senate in LD8. So Tom, you want to take a couple of minutes and update us?
trying to turn off the debate thing in the background.
All right.
Well, we appreciate everything you guys do, and it's go blue teams go, you know, and win blue teams win. There's still some problems in Gila County portion that I'm concerned about. The pebbles that were insufficient to replace the votes that we got out of the 92% of precincts that were closed permanently. And so we have to make that up on GOTV, you know. And I've been looking at Santan and I've been looking at Casa Grande. There's still some problems there. But right now, I'm thinking that enough calling and enough persuasion to get people out to vote, it's still going to be close, I think. But we're trying what we can. We're doing what we can. It's a weird year, of course, you know, like Congressman O'Halloran said, and we made some gambles on the way that we spend our budget in terms of more digital ads and less signs, because like at Santan Valley, we had our signs basically wiped out, except for a few. And that's a common problem in Santan Valley for over a decade. But so maybe we need a special project with that to actually do like Sandy Smith used to do. She used to go and park and wait by her sign all night to see what would happen. But we do think the momentum we all have together has yet to be fulfilled, but the arc is on the up. And we have some great candidates. And people see you guys and us as more of genuine, you know, American people that care about the country and want to do something for the state, the county, and the country. And so I know Barb's extremely busy. She's been calling all day and all night because there's the voter van that's in Kearney tomorrow. Myself, my ballot was put in the mail over 12 days ago and they still haven't received it. So I guess I could either drive up to that voting van and ask them what's going on tomorrow, or I could do a provisional ballot on election day. And so together though, we're just gonna make history like your previous speakers have said. I think that we're gonna give it all we got. I'm just very suspicious LD8 was hacked by the Russians last time, and I got confirmations on that from both the FBI and Department of Homeland Security. And so also an unresolved issue in Pinal County, and that's why there's a difference between the votes for Republicans and Democrats in the primary, was over 65,000 registrations were changed to other than Democrat. They think possibly through a hack of the MVD. And so that initially when I asked about it, and Donovan Kramer, who owns the Casa Grande Dispatch, he told me, Tom, let's not bring this up. They said they would do something about it. Virginia Ross will work on it throughout the year. But guess what? Later on in the year, I was told, oh, no, that's up to the people. If they don't like the ballot they get, then they'll have to do something about it. Even people last time from that I knew all my life, they would come up to me and tell me, oh, they didn't have the state candidates on the ballot they gave me or something like that. You know, I mean, so we just have to watch everything. One of them was Bobby Ngoli from the former chief of police of Florence, Republican. He said that they gave him the wrong ballot. One was my sister-in-law. And so I just think we have to be very vigilant. It's going to be a percent here, a percent there, and a percent there. And I look at each precinct individually and I can tell what's kind of going on in there. And so I think if we drive more people to the polls, that will resolve a lot of issues.
Okay.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And as Keith Brickens from Tom O'Halloran's campaign put in the chat, Democrats are getting their ballots in at a much faster rate right now than Republicans. We need to do all the things we can to keep that going, to keep our foot on the gas, get out the vote. And there's a number of ways to do that. One of them is loot trapping, another one's phone calling. And so our final speaker tonight is somebody who's going to tie all of this together for us. She has twisted my arm more than once, and I've actually gotten on the phone and made some phone calls. So yeah, so I survived. I'm still here even after doing those phone calls. So I want to bring on our final speaker tonight. Again, she's going to tie it all together for us, keep us motivated, and help us find ways to make sure we get Democrats elected up and down the ballot. So I'm going to turn it over to Mission for Arizona's Teddy Lake.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Can you all hear me okay? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, awesome. I've been here like, I think 6 times now. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Teddy. I am your field organizer with Mission for Arizona, which is the coordinated Democratic campaign this year. We're the organizing arm of Biden-Harris, Mark Kelly, and then we are also partnered with now recently Congressman O'Halloran's campaign joined our team, which has been really fun. My team in particular grew by 3. So we're all, linking arms and kind of sprinting through this last 12 days that we've got here. I guess basically 11 because today is quickly becoming done. It's been a really crazy October for us. We have been, we entered October with a universe of targets of folks who had maybe in previous months said that they're going to vote for us, but they're not folks like you who are our strong, always going to vote kind of Democrats. They're the people who are going to support us, but need an extra push to actually go through with it and vote. So we've not been calling Republicans anymore. We're not calling like random independents that we kind of sift through. We're calling the folks who have made a commitment to us at some point or have given some indication that they're on our side, and we're getting them to the polls. We're getting them to mail back their ballots and drop them off. Because right now, like the registration game is over. The only thing we have to help us win this election, our last best bet, is turnout. So as you've seen, like we are really doing well with early ballot returns. But as we know, the Republicans will catch up not only in those returns, but they will catch up on election day when they go to the polls. So we need to prepare ourselves for doing that. We started October with a universe of about like 1.23 million folks who we needed to get to come vote. And those are the people I mentioned before who are possibly low turnout Democrats. We had about 1.2 million of them. We are now at about 600,000 left who we've just not been able to get a hold of. We're recruiting more and more phone bankers every single week and day. So it's not too late to get involved. We really need your help. I know I've said this literally like 6 times now, and I've called some of you and I've emailed you. I wouldn't ask if we didn't need it. I know I talked to somebody on the phone and you won't believe this. He said, "Do you really need the help? Isn't this election all wrapped up?" He really said that to me. He said, like, "Don't you think you have this in the bag?" And I was like, no, not even close, guys. Like, we know that this is going to be a nail biter in Arizona specifically. But if we win this state, we win the country. That's how it goes. It's a cultural shift. So we have to win Arizona. It doesn't matter how close it is, but we know it will be close if we don't all take action. So I put earlier when I started a link in the chat. That's a sign-up form for the last 2 weeks of the campaign. Even if you can only do one single Saturday with us, it makes a world of difference, because what happens is we are calling folks, every day, and we cycle through the numbers we can't reach. And your number may be the one that gets through this person that we've been desperately trying to get a hold of for the last month. And it can take that one single vote to help put us over the top. So I know you guys know the stakes are high. I've been kind of tuned into the debate, and it's another, a nightmare horror show. So I don't recommend that you watch it, but know that the stakes are high, know that this is very, very serious, and that we need to kind of come together and just sprint through these last 11 days, because it's not enough just to vote this time. We've got to multiply our votes by calling other voters. And Ralph has been fantastic. So if Ralph can do it, like I said, anyone can. Does anyone have questions for me? I know that there are a lot of questions about like phone calling, because some folks feel like it's not effective. And I think that there's merit to that discussion, of course, in a normal year where we can knock on doors as well. But this year, it's literally all we have. So like, we just know it's the best way to actually have conversations with folks. Postcarding and texting is awesome, but it does not allow us to have those like actual live in-person conversations. And I'll just share this last anecdote before I stop my rant. I talked to a guy named Glenn this Sunday. I was on the phone for 4 hours calling those voters that we need to get a hold of. I talked to him, he's named Glenn. I was like, "Do you know who you're voting for?" And he was like, "Actually, I'm a little confused." And I was like, wow, okay, let's talk about it. He wasn't sure who to vote for president. He had heard rumors that Biden wanted to cut Social Security, all these right-wing lies. And we talked about it for 40 minutes. 40 minutes, and he is now voting for Biden. We had a fantastic conversation. He was very receptive to me gently correcting the things that we know are not true. And not only this, not only is he now voting for Biden and Democrats up and down the ballot, before we talked, he had never heard of Mark Kelly and is now voting for Mark. So there are people out there who we have to get in contact with. And if we just texted Glenn, he would not read the text, because it's not the same as having that back and forth where I talk about his family and he talks to me about, like, you know, what's going on in his church. These are the kind of conversations we've got to have. And they can be really inspiring. This conversation is going to stay with me for the rest of my life. And when we win, I'm going to be like, wow, this was because of Glenn. So hopefully you'll take action with us. There are people out there we need to reach, believe it or not. And, you know, let's be brave together. We can do this. That's all I have to say.
So I wanted to just share two things similar to what Teddy was talking about. When I was doing phone calling this Sunday or Saturday, whatever day it was, I don't remember now. But there were two people that asked me for asked a lot of questions about candidates and things up and down the ballot. And I had the same kind of experience where they didn't know a candidate or whatever. I had two people, because if somebody's not home, I leave a message, my name and my phone number, my actual cell phone number. I had two people actually call me back. And one of them called me back, and I was in the car and I pulled over and I talked to her for about 10 or 15 minutes. And again, she wasn't going to vote for a couple of our candidates. By the time we finished talking, she was on board with voting. And this story I tell a lot. 2012, my wife and I were out canvassing in Casa Grande for Ann Kirkpatrick. And we were out on election day, the actual election day. And there were a couple of people we talked to that said, no, I'm not going to vote. And we got them to commit, yes, okay, I'll go and vote. We twisted their arm, I'll go and vote. When we went to bed that night, Pat and I went to bed, Ann Kirkpatrick was losing badly. We woke up in the morning, and if you remember 2012, Ann Kirkpatrick won by a very slim margin. And I'm going to say that we contributed to that by what we did. So everything we do, whether you help with a lit drop, write a check, make a phone call, everything you do, write a letter to the editor, it helps. It all goes into the total picture of helping us get Democrats elected. So thanks for everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate it. We try to stay an hour. We're just over it. I just want to mention that normally we're the fourth Thursday of the month, which in November, if you look at your calendar, that's Thanksgiving. So what we always do is we move it to the third Thursday. So mark your calendars. It'll be November 19th, 6:30, same time, same station, different day, different Thursday. And a couple of us have talked about, depending on the results, and I'm very optimistic, but cautiously, depending on the results, wouldn't it be nice if we could kind of schedule some kind of a get together outside somewhere to all get together before November 19th? We're going to work on it. It depends on the result, but I'll see you all November 19th, no matter what. And we still have literature to drop. We still have phone calls to make. We're not finished till we get through the November 3rd closing of the polls. So thanks everybody for being here, and I'm sure we'll talk.
Goodbye. Thank you, everybody.